And then I realized running to get Joe Strauss out was the next logical step. And when I first started speaking about this, people thought I was crazy. He's too powerful. Does that sound familiar? He's too powerful. He's incumbent. He can't be unseated. And no one was willing to go up against him. None of our representatives. Well, I'll tell you, when I first started giving speeches about this issue, I felt like the Lone Ranger out there. But I started to give speeches and we started to get some momentum. And lo and behold, I started hearing stories about groups like this receiving phone calls from Austin. Cancel Wayne Richard. Don't have him speak to your group. Talk about a free speech issue. It's because we started to have some impact. So where are we today? We have two individuals, two Class Act individuals who are Republicans and conservatives that are now running for the House speakership. Warren Chisholm, who put his hat in first, good guy, and Ken Paxton, who announced just a couple of days ago. Ken Paxton out of McKinney. I know Ken Paxton. He knew me when I was running in West Plano. So now all bets are off. All bets are off. But there is a way for us to win. Because I am shocked at the representatives, newbie representatives, that we all worked hard to get elected. Newbies that were elected because of Tea Party members that are saying they're going to give their support to Joe Strauss. Why would that happen? Because Joe Strauss has the position and the power to give away committee chairmanships and committee positions. And all these representatives are vying for a good position. And these Tea Party candidates are already forgetting who put them there and what they said to get there. For example, Stephanie Carter, the people that worked for her throughout Collin County, that knocked on doors, made phone calls, donated to her campaign. And now we find out, after she committed to people, that she would not vote for Joe Strauss. She's a Strauss supporter. She is a one-termer. She's a one-termer. My representative, the representative that I endorsed, they told me he was a conservative. They told me the reason we could beat the third opponent was because she was a Strauss supporter. Now we're finding out he's going to endorse Strauss. But it's all very coy how they accomplish this. Well, I just can't say anything. I'm a freshman. I don't know what to say. Excuse me? Joe Strauss is a liberal rhino. Joe Strauss will destroy and defeat the Republican platform that we worked so hard to get passed at this past convention. There is no decision to be made. You're either a conservative Tea Party individual that's pushing for the rights of our country to follow the Constitution, or you are not. And now I have my representative that I endorsed saying that he's going to help Strauss against Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is in our backyard. Ken Paxton knows my representative. I am very, very frustrated. So when I got up here earlier and I said this battle's not over, it's not over. Now this is so key. Because what's going to take place here in Texas, this next legislative session, will have impact on the United States of America. This session, I predict we will have to incorporate the 10th Amendment to push back against the Obama administration. And if we have a liberal legislature, that will not happen. And we will have health care, and we will have the cap and trade bill forced down on Texas. And cap and trade will bankrupt our state. So when I have an individual that's in my backyard helping Strauss, he is fighting against what this state is all about. We had 22 new conservatives win. This state needs to be a conservative state, and we need to have a true conservative agenda pushed through. A historic agenda pushed through this session. We are Texas. It should not be Arizona that's fighting the illegal alien invasion into our country against the federal government. A federal government that's suing a sovereign state over protecting its own sovereignty. That's how backwards things have become in this country. That suit should be Texas's suit. And if you have... And when we have a Speaker of the House who's fighting against illegal alien laws and bills within our state, it's not going to happen. And as they get pushed out of Arizona, where do you think they're coming? They're coming to Texas. And they're going to go to Houston, a sanctuary city, and Plano, a sanctuary city, and Fort Worth. And they are going to get counted in the census. Because remember, the federal government has already stated, do not ask the individuals if they're legally a citizen in this country. Just do a head count. Now, this is why you need to be concerned. We had the census, and now we're about to undergo redistricting in the state of Texas. Joe Straus identifies who the committee members are for the redistricting effort. This is frightening. He assigns liberal Democrats to go around the state and take testimony. Now, why is that important? Because Texas is one of the states that will be sued by the federal government. Holder will sue Texas regardless of what type of redistricting lines we put in place. So they're banking and they're padding the lawsuit in federal court by traveling the state and receiving testimony from liberal organizations such as LULAC. Is everyone familiar with LULAC?
Yeah.
They're an aggressive, let's put it this way. LULAC actually believes that Texas stole, it still belongs to Mexico. So when I went downtown Dallas to go see how the proceedings worked, because I knew I was going to testify, and the proceedings opened, and the first person that comes to the microphone is a LULAC representative. And Royce West, everyone familiar with Royce West, Senator? Royce West says, before the LULAC person opens their mouth, he says, you have a seat at our table. Excuse me? LULAC has a seat at the table. I don't have a seat at the table. You don't have a seat at the table, but LULAC does? Now, why are they doing that? Because they're loading up the testimony. So when it goes to Washington, D.C., they can justify that the way the Republicans put the redistricting together doesn't meet the Voting Rights Act. It's not constitutional. They will redraw the maps, and Texas will become a Democratic state. And it is their agenda, and it is a strategic plan on their part. Just like the Democrats having their convention here in Texas was a strategic plan. Texas has a bullseye on its back. They want this state to be blue. It's a key state for Obama in 2 years and the Marxist agenda. So now we have a Speaker of the House that's utilizing his power and the redistricting effort to control the pledge card votes. Now, I don't just say this hypothetically. There is a lawsuit that has been filed against our Speaker of the House. And there has been a verbal charge lodged against him. So the fact that if you want to make sure you keep your district, you just need to go along and get along with Joe Straus. You push back on me, you're going to lose your district. And there's also an ethics charge and a criminal charge against our Speaker of the House currently about the way funds were transferred to representatives that were in contested cases. Now, you would think he was giving nothing but money to Republicans. That's not the case. Money was going to Democrats as well. Because Joe Straus recognizes without the Democrat vote, he cannot win. So we could win at the election ballot box and still lose in court. It's another reason why we've got to ensure that we have